Alright then, 9.5, the sine and cosine ratios. Sine and cosine ratios. So as we saw before, that should be in your notes. SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. SOA. Sine is defined as the opposite side and over the hypotenuse. Opposite divided by hypotenuse. Cosine is defined as the A for adjacent side divided by H, the hypotenuse. Okay. Tangent is defined as O for the opposite side, A divided by A, the adjacent side. Opposite side divided by adjacent. O for opposite, A for adjacent. Cosine. The way they get this, it's the complement of sine. Sine, complement of sine. Cosine. Your sine, complement of sine. That's how they got cosine. Okay. Now, using that stuff, we are going to go straight into this part right here. The sine and cosine ratio. So here's a triangle. It's not just any right triangle. It's a right triangle. Not just any triangle. It has to be a right triangle. If it's not a right triangle, we cannot do this stuff. Okay? So we have to find the sine of A, the sine of cosine of A, sine of B, and cosine of B. We're going to do as a fraction and as a decimal, 4 decimal places. So sine of A, here's A. Sine is defined as the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse. So relative to A, I would find the hypotenuse first. That's the hypotenuse. What's the adjacent? Adjacent means next to. This is adjacent. That's adjacent too, but that is the hypotenuse. So if that's the hypotenuse, it's not going to be the adjacent. That's the adjacent. So for this problem, A, that's adjacent. This is opposite. That's the hypotenuse. So sine of A is going to be the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse. 4 divided by 5. Then write that as a decimal. 0.8 to 4 places. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. Let's do sine of B. While we at it, let's do sine of B. Sine of B relative to B, that's still going to be the hypotenuse. The opposite for B, that's the opposite side to B, and that's the adjacent side to B. Sine of B is opposite side, 3, divided by hypotenuse, 5. And that's 0.6000. Done. Let's do cosine A. Cosine A, here's A, relative to A, that's hypotenuse. Relative to A, that's adjacent, that's opposite. Cosine is adjacent divided by hypotenuse. So this is going to be 3 divided by 5, which is 0.6000. Cosine of B. Here's B. Relative to B, that's the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse will always be opposite the 90 degrees. Find the 90 degree side opposite, that's going to be the hypotenuse, which is always has to be the longest side. Adjacent to B, next to B is 4. That's adjacent, that's hypotenuse. Opposite side is 3. It looks like there's a squirrel outside. So cosine 4 over 5. And that's a fraction, as a decimal, it's 0.8000. Done. Let's do this one. Mina, it's okay. No squirrels, no delivery. No peoples. Find the sine of E, cosine of E, sine of G, cosine of G. Okay, so wait, there's no oh, it's all right, Pythagorean theorem. So 8 squared plus 12 squared equals 208. So it's the square root of 208. Okay, that's not simplified. Square root of 208. Can you simplify that? Yeah, I know that's an even number, so a 2 goes into it. 2 times 104, that's prime. That's another even number, so 2 goes into that. 2 goes into that, 26 times prime. That's another even number, 2 goes into that. 2 times 13. Wait, that's not 26, that's wrong. 2 times 52. 2 times 52, so this is gonna be 2 times 26. Oh, I jumped the gun here. So that's another even number. 2 times 13. That's prime. 13, that's prime. So what we have now, 1, 2, 3, 4 2s. 1, 2, 3, 4 2s and a 13. Doink, 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 doink. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 13. So it's a square root. We're looking for identical pairs. Remember, it's a square. There's a 2, the invisible 2 right there. So we're looking for invisible pairs. There's an invisible pair. There is identical pair, identical pair. That's a 13. You don't have a pair. 2 times 2 is 4, and the square root of 4 is 2. One of those 2's comes out. One of those 2's comes out. There's no identical pair here, so it's 13. 2 times 2 is 4. So when you simplify that mess, you get 4 root 13. 4 times the square root of 13. And that's what you get right here. That's what you get right here. 4 times the square root of 13. Now, let's do this. The sine of e. Here's e. Here's e. Sine is defined. Good thing you have this in your notes. Sine is defined as opposite of hypotenuse. So that's the hypotenuse. Sine is the opposite side divided by hypotenuse. So opposite side is 12 divided by 4 root 13. It's a fraction. Cannot have a radical in the denominator. So I'm going to run, I already see, I did not plan well. I'm going to run out of space. 12 times 4 root 13. 12, 4 root 13. So the 4 could stay down there, but the root 13, you cannot have a radical in the denominator. So now you have, in the numerator, 12 root 13. You have a 4 down there. Square root of 13 times square root of 13 is 13. So we have no more radical in the denominator. Is good. Can we simplify? Well, yes. 4 goes into 4. 4 goes into 12. 4 goes into 4 once. 4 goes into there 3 times. And that becomes 3 root 13 divided by 13. Can we simplify that anymore? No, that's simplified. So to simplify that is going to be 3 root 13 divided by 13. And write this as a decimal to 4 places past the decimal. So 3 times, whoa, you didn't like that number? 3. Doesn't like the number 3. Shh, don't say that out loud. 3 times root 13 divided by 13 equals 0.83205. 4 places. So if that's 5 or greater, that's going to round up. So we're going to get 0.8321. Boom. Sine of g. Sine of g. Sine of g is opposite divided by hypotenuse. Opposite divided by hypotenuse. Opposite. Opposite divided by hypotenuse. Opposite side divided by the hypotenuse. Okay, that should be in your notes. This right here should be in your notes. That should be in your notes right there. That should be in your notes right there. Opposite side, the g is 8. Is that? Can we see 8? I can't see it on the camera. Where is it? There, now I can see it. Opposite side is 8. Hypotenuse is 4 root 13. So 13 is square root of 13 is a radical. Cannot have that in the denominator. It is not simplified. Now we have 8 root 13. 4 times square root of 13 times square root of 13 is 13. Can we simplify that anymore? There's no radical in the bottom. 4 goes into 4, 4 goes into 8, 4 goes in there once, 4 goes in there twice. So now 2 root 13 over 13. So sine of g is 2 root 13 over 13. As a decimal, 2 times square root of 13 equals, divided by 13 equals 55470. If that's 5 or greater, we round that up. Is that 5 or greater? Nope. So it's just that. As a decimal, 0.5547. Cosine of E. Here's E. Cosine is defined adjacent over hypotenuse. That's the relative to E. That's adjacent. That's hypotenuse. It's going to be cosine of E adjacent 8 divided by 4 root 13. And didn't we just do that right there? We did. We have our answer right here. Cosine of E, we already have our answer. It's that one right there. 2 root 13 divided by 13. And as a decimal, that is equivalent to 0.5547. Nice. Next one, cosine of G. It's not the OG, it's cosine of G. G. Your hair smells terrific. Cosine of G is adjacent over hypotenuse. That's your adjacent. Cosine of G. Cosine is going to be 12 divided by 4 root 13. And 12 divided by 14, we could do all that stuff, but didn't we just do that right over here? Yes. There's our answer. There's our answer. 3 root 13. 3 root 13 divided by 13. As a decimal, it's 0.8321. I don't think she likes math, that dog. Wow. It's not mama. All righty then. Done with that one. Whew, it took a long time. I'm practicing. This is the stuff that's going to give you guys fits. The square root stuff. Changing it from a fraction like this to simplify it. Because you're just not in practice with it, that's why. Question number 9. Here's some more notes for you. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Okay. I know. Trig. Geometry, algebra, statistics. She just left. The sine of an angle is equal to the cosine of its complement. What? Sine of an angle is equal to the cosine of its complement. There's a cosine. The complement of that is going to be 90 minus that angle. And you're going to get the cosine. So what does that mean? What? That should be in your notes. That right there should be in your notes. Pause it. That should be in your notes. Give you an example. Okay. So sine of 28. Sine of 28. We're going to take cosine of 90 minus 28. Cosine of 90 minus 28. And cosine of 90 minus 28 is 62. Hey, what's the cosine of 62? Mr. Hop, that's not 6. Whoa, teacher, whoa, slow down. That's a. Where do you see that? You don't. Every time I get a calculator, I want to make sure that it's in the proper mode. Sine of 30, I should get 0.5. 0.5. If I don't get 0.5, it tells me it's in the incorrect mode. It's in degree mode right now. If it's in a different mode, you're going to get something that is not 0.5. Okay, so cosine of 62, cosine of 62, 0.46947. So there you go. 0.4695. 1, 2, 3, 4 places past the decimal. 1, 2, 3, 4 places past the decimal. Do another example. Sine of 61 is going to be, the complement is going to be cosine of 90 minus 61. 90 minus 61 is 29. Cosine of 29, cosine of 29, 0.8746, 0.8746. Okay, let's do sine of 67. So sine of 67, that's going to be the cosine of 90 minus 67. And 90 minus 67, 23. Cosine of 23. You should be doing this on your calculator right now. See if you're getting the same numbers. 205. On your calculator, make sure when you do this, you get that number. Cosine of 29, you get that number. Cosine of 62, you get that number. This is where you want to practice with your calculator. Well, okay, now that's sine. What about cosine? Cosine is just going to be the reverse. It's just switched. So cosine of 62, you're going to take, is equivalent to the sine of 90 minus a. Sine of 90 minus 62. 90 minus 62 is 28. And the cosine of 28 equals 0.8829. Something's wrong there. Sine of 28. Cosine of 62. Cosine of 62 should be equivalent to this. Sine of 28. Oh, there we go. I pressed the wrong button. I hope you saw what I did wrong. Here's why I'm saying I know I got the wrong answer. I made a mess here. I got this answer. I know I made a mistake somewhere because sine of 28, it should be equivalent to cosine of 62. Cosine of 62 is that number right there, 0.4695. I'm expecting to get 0.4695, and I didn't. So something's wrong. So sine of 28 equals 0.46947, round out to 0.5. Sine of 28, I get 0.4695. That's equivalent to that. And that is equivalent to cosine of 62. That right there, this cosine of 62, that answer, should be the exact same as cosine of sine of 28. Okay? I'm checking my work. Cosine of 29 will be equal to sine of 90 minus 29. I know, it's trig. I know. You gotta bark. Yeah, bark away. Sine of 61. And that answer is equivalent to 0.8746, And I did a quick glance. That should be the exact same as right up here. It is. Okay, this last one, can you kind of guess what goes right here, the number? I hope so, because cosine of 23, sine of 67. I wonder what should go there. Okay, Sine is 67. Wait, sine is 67. Do we get the same number? No, I hope you saw what I did. I did not press sine is 67. That's not sine is 67, so be careful. Sine is 67. We should get 0.9205. 0.9205, yep. 0.9205. Beautifuls. It's a 5. Whoosh. This is the stuff you're going to do for question number 9 and 10 and 11. All right, boom. You did this. Question 17B. Question 17B. B. Question 17. Find the value of each variable using the sine and cosine. Round your answers to the nearest blah. Nope. 17. I want these answers rounded to the nearest 4 places past the decimal for questions 17 through 22. I want you to round off to 4 places past the decimal for numbers 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Round it off to 4 places past the decimal. Yeah, 4 places past the decimal. That's what I want it done. I want you to do the work, not someone else. Okay, so here we have a triangle. It's a right triangle. Yes, we have 38 degrees. We need to figure out what W is. We need to figure out what P is to the nearest 4 places past the decimal. So relative to 38, that side is the hypotenuse. Relative to 38, this is the adjacent side. Relative to 38, that side is opposite. Okay, boom, boom, boom. There we go. So to find P, we're going to use, now we have to figure out, do we use sine or cosine or tangent? That's where our brain has to start coming in. So I just want to find P first. So if I'm going to find P, I'm going to use 38 degrees. I'm using 18. I'm going to ignore that side for right now. Right now, I'm using adjacent and hypotenuse. Is this adjacent and hypotenuse? Nope. Is this adjacent and hypotenuse? Nope. Is this adjacent? Yes, it is. So we're using cosine. Okay. Cosine of that angle, 38 degrees, is equal to adjacent side divided by hypotenuse. There we go. Find P. P is in the numerator. That's right where we want it. P is on this side of the equation. 18 is on this side. We want 18 on the other side. So what's the opposite of P divided by 18? Multiplying. Just like that. Multiplying. So P. Can you say multiplying? I still can't hear you. Are you sure? The privacy of your own home? Really? 18 cosine of 38 degrees. Whoa. Simmer down now. 18 times cosine of 38 degrees. I get 17.19. Something looks fishy. Something's fishy there. Okay, to me, my experience tells me something's not right. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to try this again. Sine of 30 should be 0.5. There we go. It's not 0.5. So it tells me somehow I pushed the button. It's no longer in degree mode. It's in radian mode right there. I don't know if you can see that, but it says rad. So it's in the wrong mode. I want to get to degrees. There, now it's in degrees. Okay, degree mode. It says DEG right there. That's what I want. Let's try that again. 18 times cosine of 38 degrees. And we get 14.184. And that's your value of P. Why is that wrong? Why is that wrong? I want you to do it 4 places past the decimal. I only went 3. Ah, 1841. It's a 9, so 1842. There we go. That one's done. Let's find W. So wait, that's still not right. Units. No, it's not units. Look, someone finally actually put units there. It's meters. Boom. For you people going to college, these are all silly mistakes I've made in college. And well, in high school too, but in college they just take you down and just, oof. College is going to be fun. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. Now for W, right now we're going to ignore this side here, P. For 38 degrees, we're using 38 degrees, we're using the number 18, and we have opposite and hypotenuse. Which trig function has opposite and hypotenuse? It's this one. It's this one. So sine, so we're going to use sine of 38. Sine of 38 degrees equals, W divided by the hypotenuse, 18. W is in the numerator, nice. It's on that side. 18's also on that side. You need 18 on the other side. So we're going to multiply both sides by 18. Those cancel. So 18 times the sine of 38 degrees is equal to W. 18 times sine of 38 degrees, and we get 11.08 meters is equal to W. Bada bing bang boom. All right, next question. Oh, come on, did you catch that? 4 places past the decimal, 4 places. 4 places past the decimal. 0.819, 11.0819 meters. There's your answer right there. Okay. All silly mistakes people make. Be careful of those little mistakes. Okay, next one, 19B. 19B. It's not 19, it's 19B. Busy like sting me like a bee. Sting like a bee. I could do that, but that's showbiz. Okay, we need to find the values of Z and X. Hey, we're given, it's a right triangle. Sweet! 73 degrees, and we have 10 meters. So we have these 3 numbers. Has to be a right triangle. It is. Good stuff. So relative to 73 degrees, that side is opposite. Relative to 73, that side is adjacent. Relative to 73 degrees, this is the hypotenuse. Hype! Need a hype man, woman. Okay, so let's find X first. So we're going to ignore this side right here first. So we have 73, we have 10, and we have X. So we have opposite and adjacent. Is this opposite and adjacent? No. Is this opposite and adjacent? No. Is this opposite and adjacent? Yes! Tangent. Tangent of 73 degrees is equal to opposite divided by adjacent. Opposite divided by adjacent. What's the side opposite? 10. What's the side that's adjacent? X. Okay, so we have that. So we have tangent of 73 degrees equals to 10 divided by X. X is on that side. It's in the denominator. We don't want it in the denominator. We want it in the numerator. We have to multiply both sides by X. X times tangent 73 equals 10. X is now in the numerator, which is what we want. It's on that side. Now, is there something on this side that's not an X? Yes, it's tan of 73. Divide both sides by tangent of 73. get x equals 10 divided by tangent of 73 degrees. 10 divided by tangent of 73. You should be doing this on a calculator to see if you're getting the same number I do. You need to practice. More than half the people in class are going to make a mistake on this stuff because you're not practicing. 3. Okay? So 3.0573. 4 places past the decimal. Bam, there's your Z. Wait, no, that's an X. And let's do Z now. So now we have Z, we can forget that. Now, this is 3.0573. Technically speaking, it's a right triangle. We have two sides of the triangle. I could use Pythagorean theorem. I could use Pythagorean theorem. I won't, because let's say I made a mistake on this. Let's say it's actually 3.56. If it's something other than that, and now I'm going to use that mistake in the Pythagorean theorem, well, that makes my answer, my new answer, incorrect as well. That's why I don't want to do that. Okay, I'm going to do the same. Just ignore that side. I'm going to find. Oh, by the way, that should be meters. Meters. Thank you for finding that error. Relative to 73, that side is opposite, and the side we want to find is hypotenuse. Opposite and hypotenuse. Which side, which trig function are we going to use? Is it tangent? Is it cosine? Is it sine? It's one of those three. Okay? Opposite over hypotenuse. Sine. So sine of 73. Sine of 73 degrees equals opposite 10 divided by hypotenuse Z. Okay, Z's on that side, it's in the denominator. We have to get it to the other side, so multiply both sides by Z. Those cancel. 10 equals 0 times sine of 73. 10 equals Z times sine of 73. Z's now on that side, Z's now on that side. Perfect. Is there something else on the side that's not a Z? Yeah, it's sine of 73. Divide both sides by that junk, whatever that junk is. Z equals 10 divided by sine of 73. 10 divided by sine of 73. Okay, and see if you get that same answer. On your calculator, see if you get that same answer. 10.456917 equals 10.4569 meters. Bing, bing, boom. Okay, make sure these answers are next to each other. Okay, question 27. I'm just going to set 27 up. I'm going to set up 28. Okay, we have these problems. Question, what? 27, 28. Question 27. Hey, there's a right triangle right there. Here's your right angle. And then what's the length of the slide? What's that length? What's the hypotenuse? So you will either have to use sine or cosine or tangent, or maybe at least one of those. Question 28. Find the horizontal distance, x. So you have to find x. That's 41.20. Does that say 26? I think it says 26. 26 is the hypotenuse. So 26 is the hypotenuse. The angle's 41 degrees. It is a right triangle. Boom! Go to it. 34 minutes! We're done. Bye!